Just a quick minor note. I made a very minor change on screen here. I swapped my layers panel and my column of icons. So my column of icons, or panel icons, I guess I should say, was over on the extreme right. And I just flipped the two because I wasn't feeling it. And now I totally feel it, which is great. It's awesome. Okay, now the next thing that I want to show you, I'm sorry, I get excited about these things. The next thing that I want to show you here is we want to customize Photoshop's keyboard shortcuts specifically for web design. And as a matter of fact, we can even go and customize Photoshop's menus. So quite literally, we can customize the keyboard shortcuts for the variety of commands that we see inside the menus. And we can also customize the menus themselves. And what I mean by that is we can actually remove some commands from the menus and make our menus less cluttery, I suppose you could say. For instance, we have underneath the file menu, we have browse in bridge, browse in mini bridge, open as a smart object. Do you use bridge and mini bridge? They're kind of cool, but the last time I used bridge was the last time I recorded some training on it, to be honest. I know it's bad. So I may as well just remove those commands, right? So anyway, let's get to it. I'm going to head to the edit menu, and then all the way down at the bottom of the edit menu, my edit menu is getting cut off, but the second to last command at the bottom of the edit menu is keyboard shortcuts. Go ahead and choose that guy. And we get this huge dialog box coming up here. And it's actually kind of cool. It gives you the steps here for creating your own custom keyboard shortcuts. So what we need to do is we actually need to create our own custom keyboard shortcut set, as they're referred to. So here at the top, you can see set. And right now I'm set to the Photoshop defaults. I don't have any other keyboard set available until I go and create my own. And that's exactly what I'm going to do here. I'm going to click on this fella right here. It looks like a little save icon with a downward pointing arrow. Create a new set based on the current set of keyboard shortcuts. I'm going to go ahead and click on that guy. And it presents me with a save dialog box. It wants to save my keyboard shortcuts. So I'm going to call this Jeff's Totally Awesome Shortcuts, because they are, right? And go ahead and click on save. Well, I think they are. Okay, so there's the set there now saved up at the top. But the problem here is that Jeff's Totally Awesome Shortcuts are exactly the same as the Photoshop defaults. I haven't changed anything here yet. Well, that's what we're going to do next. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the Shortcuts for drop-down menu to Application Menus. However, if you want to go on a rampage and go and explore on your own, know that you can go and set shortcuts for panel menu options, where we just were, by the way, in the previous exercise, and also for your tools as well. It's super awesome. So make sure you're on application menus. And here's the shortcut that I want to change. Maybe I should have mentioned this before we actually dug into this dialog box. But if I twist into the file menu, so these are all my menus, by the way, that we see across the top of the interface. Edit and image, layer, and so on, right? So I'm going to twist into file. And inside the file menu, if I scroll down a little bit here, we have a command called Save for Web and Devices, which is a command that you and I are going to make great use of during our time together. But check out the keyboard shortcut. On the Mac here, it's Option Shift Command S, or on the PC side, I believe it's Alt Shift Control S. So in other words, what you would do is you'd make your fingers into a ball, kind of resembling like a baseball bat, and you'd cram it into the sort of the bottom left side of your keyboard, and you'd hope for the best, right? And you hope that you don't pull a cramp. So it's pretty nasty, right? It's a pretty gnarly keyboard shortcut. And here's the problem that I have. If I move my eyeballs up just a little bit in this list, we have Save As, which is a command, first of all, that I hardly ever use. And not only that, but at least in my case, the default Photoshop set here has two keyboard shortcuts assigned to one command. So in my case here, Shift Command S and Option Command S applies the Save As command, or activates the Save As command. So what I would prefer to do is I would prefer to take Shift Command S and apply it to Save for Web and Devices, rather than using this meatball keyboard shortcut. I said the end of a baseball bat. Really, I should have said contorting your fingers into a meatball. But anyway, All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Save As here, this Shift-Command-S. I'm going to select that. And I'm actually going to click on Delete Shortcut over on the right-hand side to get rid of that guy. So if I really, really wanted to use Save As, which I hardly ever do, and if I really, really wanted a keyboard shortcut, well, I still have one there. And then what I'm going to do for Save for Web and Devices, I'm going to click in there, and I'm going to delete that shortcut as well, clear that guy out. And then what I want to do is I want to add in that Shift-Command-S or Shift-Control-S on the PC side. So I'm going to click inside sort of that shortcut column there and then throw in my new keyboard shortcuts. So again, Shift-Command-S or Control-Shift-S on the PC side. There we go. Just like that. And then what I would do over on the right-hand side is I would click on Accept. And essentially what we've done here is we have assigned a new keyboard shortcut to the Save for Web and Devices dialog box, which is fabulous. It's great. And notice, of course, you could go and do that for any other command that you want. Not only underneath the File menu, but underneath all of your other menus as well. Now, there's only the one keyboard shortcut that I wanted to change, but you're more than welcome to go and make some other changes. Here's one that comes to mind here. If I go to Image and then Mode, underneath Mode, maybe you want to set one for converting your image to RGB. Right? Maybe an F key like F12 or F11 or something like that. You got to be careful that your keyboard shortcut isn't already assigned to another command. That's always the trick, but that's just another one that happens to come to mind. Okay, so I think we're looking good here. So I'm going to go ahead and save the Jeff's Totally Awesome shortcuts. You can see there it's modified. I'm going to go and save it by clicking on the save icon. There we go. We've saved it up. Now, the other thing that I could do is I could go and modify my menus as I had alluded to earlier. I could flip into menus here and basically run through the same process. I'd click on the same icon there to get myself started, and I'd call this Jeff's Menus or Jeff's Totally Awesome Menus or whatever you want there. And then I'd go to work removing some menu commands that I'm never going to use. For instance, underneath the File menu, Browse and Bridge, I'm not going to use it. So I'm going to turn off the visibility there, just that eyeball icon inside the visibility column. Browse and Mini Bridge, not going to use it. Open as a smart object, probably not. What else do we have here? If I scroll down here, share my screen? No, I don't think so. Create a new review? I don't think so. Device Central? Come on, seriously? All the way down here. And again, you could go through every single menu and decide which commands you want to get rid of and which ones you want to keep, right? Go all the way through there. Don't forget to save your adjusted or modified menu set. And of course, by the way, at any time, you can flip back to some of the other menu and keyboard sets that we have available. But I think we're looking good here, so I'm going to go ahead and click on OK. And what's cool here now is if I head to my File menu, first of all, any mention of Device Central or Mini Bridge or Browsing in Bridge, any of that stuff is gone. And notice that my keyboard shortcut for the Save for Web and Devices dialog box is now changed. Even though it's grayed out, I can see it's Shift-Command-S in my case here. And by the way, if you did indeed remove some of your menu commands, what will happen now is down at the very bottom of the menu, you'll now see a new menu command called Show All Menu Items. And if I choose that guy, then all of those Bridge and Share My Screen and all the menu commands that I had deactivated now reappear. So it's not like you're completely removing them. You can always get them back, again, just by saying Show All Menu Items. So there you go. There's how you can customize your keyboard shortcuts for our web workflow and also how you can streamline Photoshop's menus.